he was so, things like
Right.
that, or making love with Harry Hamlin, like, anything. I just was like, you were, but GLSEN, it lands super high. The acknowledgement, the ability also, when I wrote that speech, when I sat down to be able to like have that come out of me, because I didn't know where that was in me. I wasn't, and it was very cathartic, and it was meaningful to have my family there. It was meaningful to be, because it took me a long time to be comfortable saying I was gay, to be comfortable, just on so many levels. So it was huge to receive that honor, and also I hope that I can continue to be set an example and help all young LGBTQ plus people and fight for our rights and fight for marriage equality, which we did. And in this like crazy time of divisiveness and conservative and this right and left and all this crazy, just to make sure we protect ourselves and our community. And we're in. Yeah.
We're in. I mean, do you think to that point, like we've come far, like you look at shows, like, I mean, your husband basically runs all of CAA, like we have Pose, like we've come, like, do you think we've come far? Like, do you still see like a lot of closeted, like there's still a lot of closeted actors and actresses in Hollywood? What
It's
do you think?
interesting. I think we've come certainly far. When you have content, you have someone like Max Munchnick who creates Will and Grace in the 90s. That was, amazing to tell the stories. And we all related, I had the girl best friend who she was in love with me and da 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 da.
Totally.
I had Jack, I wasn't Jack. But and the portrayal of gay people now is much more prevalent. And I think with Pose, I think Ryan Murphy has done such service to our community. And I think people like Greg Berlanti have done incredible things. I think there are a lot of gay actors out there now, and leading men gay actors. I mean, you look at someone like Matt Bomer, who is a friend of mine. Like there was a time he could not be in, first of all, he did not get cast as Superman when the studio found out he was gay. He really was going to get it. This is now years ago, and he didn't, because they didn't want to take the chance. That was then. This is now where he can portray a married man, and we believe him as a married man to a woman. You don't have to be. So I think we've gone super far. I think we have to keep telling the stories. I think we have to keep telling the disenfranchised stories. We have to portray gay people positively. I think in the movies and television, I think there's a responsibility there, not to make them the killers, not to make them like these crazy,
stereotypical.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, is there room to grow? Yes. Is there room to grow with all, groups now? Yes. I think there's a huge focus in on that. I do question the ability that you have to be gay to play gay, or you have to be, because do you have to be straight to play straight? I just feel like there's a little bit of a slippery slope going on there, because without great movies like Sean Penn portraying Harvey Milk, that would never have happened. Sometimes you need a movie star to make a movie about someone who's great and to tell their story, and hopefully. But we've come a long way. And I mean, I watch like now all these rom-coms that are meant for like teenagers about like the love story, like Love, Simon. I immediately went to like Greg Berlanti and was like, I've watched it 4 times because I was able to relive my adolescence, because I didn't have a boyfriend. I wanted a boyfriend,
Right.
I wanted to go to the prom. I wanted to fall in love on the Ferris wheel. What the hell?
Totally. Yeah. No, I hear you. I agree with all of that. Speaking of Ryan Murphy, are you as blown away? I mean, I know she's family, your daughter, Billie Lord. Are you as blown away by her arc on American Horror Story? I mean, this many season, like she's just, I mean, the show is brilliant in general, but like when you watch her, are you just like, oh my God?
I am so blown away by Billie. Billie started, when she went on to Scream Queens, it was like, okay, obviously she grew up in business. She's royalty in the business as a result of her mom and her grandmother and her dad. And I didn't know she had those chops, because she really wasn't going that way in high school and in college. And she was always, she's very creative. She sings, the music, all that. And then she does Scream Queens, and I could see, you know, like this was like a learning ground for her, you know, like, okay, like this is how this is done. And I'm so blown away by her ability, her commitment, her hard work, her talent. You know, she is about to go, and we're so sad because she leaves this weekend with our grandson, who we're very upset about that she has to take him. But of course, she does, to Australia to quarantine and shoot a movie that will be for January till January, with playing the best friend of the daughter of Julia Roberts and George Clooney. So it's happening, and to her credit, it's happening because she's good, not because her dad's an agent. You know what I mean? She's got the good. So I'm blown away by her, and I'm more blown away by her as a mother, because she is just an epic mother. And at 29 years old, she glows, and he is the joy of all of our lives.
And right, like it's easy to say, well, your mother's Carrie Fisher, your father's this huge agent, but no, then you actually watch and you're like, okay, wait a second, this is not a joke here. Like this is the real
if you
deal.
think about that, how many children of very famous people, they get the shot, they get in the door, and then it just doesn't work for them, because at the end of the day, like any business, whether you're in, you know, finance or what have you, or restaurant, if you don't do it, if you won't make it. So I always say, I can get you the interview, but you have to do the work. I didn't get you the job. You got yourself the job.
I think that's true, especially in Hollywood. Like you get in the door, no one's going to cast you just because of this and that. It's like,
right,
honey, there's a lot of money on the line here. Right. I totally agree with that. Did you call Julia Roberts and say, you better be nice to my Billie Lord when she's on location with you? I mean, you have direct access, you know.
I do have direct access. Julia was here with Danny and two of their kids a couple of months ago. We had I guess it was like maybe a Labor Day barbecue. So, you know, the talk of the table too was, you know, the pending travel, and we've seen George. No, I mean, that would not be my place to say, though. Knowing Julia now for a long time, she's a heart of gold, and she will only embrace, and they're going to take care of Billy, especially being so far from home. So there's no one. I mean, I'm the hugest Julia Roberts fan. Like, we went to the AFI celebration of Julia Roberts years ago, and I'm sitting next to Brian, and they show, you know, I love a montage. And they show all these clips in every movie. I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. And Brian goes, why do you only identify as the Julia Roberts character, not the guy character? I'm like, because that's who I am.
When Julia's on the screen, there is no other.